What's going on, guys? Welcome back for another video. Today I am 226 days sober, and I thought I'd talk about sobriety and have a little sobriety video for you guys. And the topic I want to talk about is the nostalgia of drinking. And now, for those of you who don't know, I'm not going to get completely into my drinking story, but long story short, alcohol took me down a pretty nasty, dark, twisty path. And it just got to a point where it was something that was holding me back and was just stunting my growth and was just messing up my life in so many different ways. And the crazy thing about it is that it seemed like it was the only thing that was helping, but in reality, it was the thing that was just fucking up my life and just kind of keeping me miserable and just like, so many things alcohol, like me drinking, like ruined about like my life. But like, I'm not gonna go into any details. I will go into details in a future video, but this one I'm trying to keep a little bit short. And I just want to talk about the nostalgia with drinking. Now, I don't know what your reasons are. Maybe you're trying to be sober. Maybe you're sober curious. Maybe you think you should cut back on drinking. Maybe alcohol just, you've had enough. You've had too many bad decisions, too many hungover days, too much anxiety the day after drinking, too many poor decisions made when you've been drinking. And, I don't know what your story is, but I'm going to talk about the nostalgia behind drinking. And when we quit drinking alcohol, it might take a week, a couple days, a couple weeks, maybe even a month or 2 months. Ultimately, we're usually very motivated to quit drinking. And I know this because I quit drinking like 100 different times. It feels like 100 different times I quit drinking. But I always came back to alcohol because of that nostalgia. Like I would quit and I would have my reasons for quitting. I'm like, I'm never gonna drink again. I don't want to drink again. This thing is ruining my life. I don't like the person I am when I'm drunk, when I'm drinking. And I'd go a couple weeks sober and I'd start to feel a lot better and things would be going good. And sometimes it'd be like a month sober and I would start feeling a lot better and things would be becoming super good. And then I would always go back to drinking because of that nostalgia. Like I would always forget all the bad things about alcohol, all the reasons why I wanted to quit drinking. It's like the volume got turned down to like almost the lowest setting. Like I could barely even remember why I quit drinking. And the only thing I could remember was just the good times, the socializing, the women, the hanging out with friends, the drunk adventures. Like it's like the volume on that stuff got turned way up. Like when I quit drinking, it was the opposite. It was like volume is like a 10 out of 10 on all the reasons why I should not drink alcohol and I should not let alcohol into my life anymore because I just don't like the man I become when I drink. And then all the good things, if you'd even call them good, yeah, okay, there were some good things. I'm not going to be like just completely one-sided on this argument. Like, yeah, I had a lot of fun when I drank. I had a lot of fun drinking. And for me, it was fun until it wasn't fun anymore. It was like a relationship. Like, things are good until they're not good and you break up and somebody breaks somebody's heart and then it's just miserable. And that's how I feel like with alcohol since I've completely quit it. It felt like a breakup. But then, you have those days, and even with breakups, like where you just kind of miss your ex and you just like think about them and you just like, why the fuck am I thinking about this person? I've been over them for a long ass time. And then just like you're home one day and you're alone in your bed or you're just feeling particularly lonely that day. And then you just like kind of think, wow, it'd be nice to cuddle. And then you remember the last person you cuddled with. And then it's like, oh, fuck, well, I'm thinking about him, blah, blah, blah. That's literally the same thing with alcohol. Like the longer you go without drinking alcohol, the more you have this like nostalgia and you think it would be a good idea to have a drink and you think it'd be fun to have a drink again. But the reality is like, it's a toxic relationship. Like it happened. You did what you were meant to do and you can't do it anymore. Like it's over. And it's just crazy, man. And this is like a trap I fell into. And I think this was the hardest thing for me to like, kind of commit to sobriety and just like giving up alcohol for good was that I would frequently go like, a week, 2 weeks, a month and not drink any alcohol. And I would start to feel better. But when I started feeling better, that's when I would like miss like the drink, the buzz, the times with my friends, the, just the warm sensation in my body, just kind of being able to numb myself and not really feel things and just like goof off and just like get out of my comfort zone. I can still do all those things. It's just harder, sober. You got to put a little more effort in, but you can still get loose and wild and crazy. But I think it's just mainstream society really like disillusions us to think that alcohol is just almost like a necessity. And man, it's so hard, man, when you quit drinking, because that nostalgia, like, always comes up out of the blue. And like for me, I'd say like when you quit drinking, it's really hard those first couple weeks. And then it gets significantly easier because you get a lot more mental strength, a lot more mental capital. You start to realize, hey man, I can still do stuff, live my life without alcohol involved in it. But then just one random day, like for me, it's like 200, like I think yesterday or the day before, I was really like craving a drink. And I'm like, why am I craving a drink? I don't let alcohol into my life anymore. I'm not trying to be the man I used to be. Like I did so much damage and messed so many good things up in my life drinking. And I was so amazed at how could I even entertain the thought that a drink might be good right now. I still felt like a drink might be good. I still remembered all those times I would party and just like, you know, hook up with girls and just like hang out with my friends and just like have these crazy drunk nights and crazy shenanigans. But the reality is, it's just, I've crossed that line. It doesn't do that for me anymore. Even though I think it might be a good time, I know it's probably going to be a bad time. I know it's going to spiral out of control. I know I'm going to start becoming somebody different. And you know it's bad. Like, nobody is themselves when they drink. But if you drink long enough, drunk you starts to become way, way different from sober you. And drunk me is just not good me, man. I never want drunk me coming out of the box. I keep him in a box. I keep him locked up tight. And I don't want to be that man anymore, man. I did so much horrible shit, guys. Like anybody who's been like wrestling with like trying to give up drinking and just entertaining the idea of like quitting alcohol, like knows what I'm talking about. Like that shit will fuck you up, even though society says it won't. Even though it's on every billboard, even though it's like the sure sign of a good time, or you see the billboards where it's like, find your beach, drink some Corona. Like, and it doesn't even matter, like all the hangovers, all the times you vomit, we still go back to it. I still went back to it time and time again. And I hope I stay strong, and I hope that this is it. I'm done with booze. You know, I can't foresee the future, but all I know is I'm not drinking today. And you know, and that's the thing, man, like I'm gonna throw a little bonus tip here. Like the nostalgia of drinking sucks. So if you're trying to be sober or you're sober curious, just be ready for that. Like once you get X amount of time under your belt, you're probably gonna just forget all the reasons you started. And it's normal for it to feel like the volume's down to a 1 and the volume on like the urge to like drink or want to drink goes up to like a 10 because you think it'd be fun. You think it'd be a good time. And then just expect it, man. And the bonus thing I was going to say is that don't tell yourself you can't drink, because when you limit yourself and you say that you can't drink, it almost feels like you're depriving yourself, and then it just creates this like illusion around it. Like if I say I can't drink, then all of a sudden I think alcohol is like this forbidden fruit, and then I get frustrated because I feel like I'm depriving myself. And you don't ever want to do that. I know full well I can drink. Nothing's going to stop me from going to the bar across the street and pounding one right now if I want to. It's open on the table for me. But I know my misery will always be refunded to me. That's what I think. Like if I go get a drink, my misery will be refunded to me 100%. It's on the table. I could do it if I want to do it. But do I really want to do it? Do I really want to go back to the man I used to be? Do I really want to stunt my progress, stunt my change, stunt my growth? And the answer's no, of course not. So I'm doing it, and I really had to learn a lot about just like alcohol and how it like affects your brain and how it affects your mindset. For me to actually get to a place where I was strong enough to just be like, all right, I don't need this substance anymore. I see what it's doing to me, and I see that it's holding me back. So yeah, nostalgia's hard to deal with. But don't ever tell yourself you can't drink. And I'm not telling you to drink. I'm just saying don't create that deprivation with you. Have your reasons for not drinking be the reasons why you don't drink. You can't not drink because you don't want to, because you can't drink. You have to not drink because you know something better is on the other side of staying sober and giving up alcohol and not going back to just like numbing yourself and numbing your emotions and just making poor decisions. You know you're going to become something better. Let those reasons be the reasons why you choose not to drink today. And also, don't even think about not drinking your whole life, because that shit is daunting. Like I always thought like I'd have like champagne at my wedding, and like every birthday would probably have some kind of cocktails. I literally grew up just like thinking that was the way my life was going to be. And then by the time I'm 30, like alcohol was like such a problem in my life, and I was like ruining so many relationships and friendships and social bonds with people that I just like came to this like crazy moment where I'm just like, wow, I've got to let it go. I can't let this thing be in my life anymore. And it was so hard because it was so ingrained into like everything I did, man. Like dinner, drink some wine. It's sun is setting, time to drink. 5 o'clock somewhere, whatever. Go out with friends, drink. Stay home, drink. Unwind with some video games, drink. Stressed out after a day at work, drink. I'm stressed out because I have to go to work tomorrow, drink. Like literally, it got so insidious and so like ingrained in like everything that it was so hard to cut it out. So man, expect it to be hard. Expect you to have a lot of nostalgia with drinking. Expect you to have those days that are rough, but expect yourself to remind yourself that you can remember the reason why you started, and you can remember all that you have to gain. And honestly, guys, for me, like sobriety thus far, when I was drinking, I would always drink for that high. And the highs were never as good, but the lows just kept getting worse. So it was almost like I was going on like a downhill spiral with like ups and downs. They were still the highs, but the highs weren't as good, and the lows just kept getting worse. Rock bottom after rock bottom after rock bottom. But with sobriety, it's almost kind of the same thing. Like there's that initial high of sobriety, but then there's a little bit of a low. And granted, you don't ever feel as low as you felt when you were drinking, but you still have some pretty low days. And those days you're very just like likely to just like think, oh, I just want to drink. I don't want to feel this. I want to get over these emotions. I just want to numb myself, turn it off right now. Don't do that, because those lows don't last that long. And then you have another high. And the highs just keep getting better. And the longer you're sober, the more it becomes this thing that just you're proud of. And it boosts your confidence and your self-esteem. And then you're just like, wow, like why would I throw this away? This is like, and you could, like a lot of people who get sober, like me included, man, like my self-esteem was so shitty. My confidence, my self-worth, everything was at like as low as it could possibly be. And now I'm starting to feel a lot better. And a big part of it, I think, is just the fact that I've been sober so long. Like I'm starting to believe in myself. I'm starting to think that I'm someone I can trust. I'm starting to trust my decisions. I'm starting to find more faith in my own self, more confidence, more self-esteem that, you know, I can do this thing. And like, I'm so proud of myself. I never thought I'd say that, but I'm actually proud of myself, man. I'm so thankful I walked away from the path I was on. I'm so damn grateful that I'm just not doing it anymore. And I really hope I can motivate some of you guys out there to like, you know, stay on the path, stay strong. You could be a problem drinker. You could have other substance abuse issues. I definitely did a little more than just drinking. And like, I don't know what your story is, or you might just be sober curious and just be wondering like maybe your life would be better without alcohol, because I can guarantee you it's so great. Like literally, no days are hungover, no days are wasted. I have so much more motivation to do little things, and I get so much more enjoyment from little things. Like a big thing for me was apathy. I used to be so apathetic and just had no motivation or desire to do anything sober because everything was just dull and gray and depressing, and I had no energy. And then like after a couple months of not drinking, it's like all of a sudden like things started turning on. Like the colors started coming back. Like I started enjoying life again. I started like finding beauty and shit, and just like enjoying like talking on my camera and making videos and like hanging out with friends. Even just like a basic conversation over coffee is like so stimulating to me right now. But it didn't used to feel like that. It used to feel like the most boring thing in the world. Like unless there's some Baileys or some liquor in that coffee, like what's the point of having a conversation? And things get so much better, man. So anyways, make sure, be prepared for the nostalgia. Treat sobriety like this precious like egg, man. Just like you got to nurture it, and then it does grow. And then once it starts to grow, it gets so much easier. But even expect you to have off days. Like even when you get a lot of time in, like you still have those days where you just have that nostalgia and you kind of just want to be like a quote unquote normal person. But you know, I just had to come to the realization that normal wasn't me. And I don't think I even want to be normal. I don't think I've ever wanted to be normal in my life. I've always been kind of like counterculture anyways. So I hope this helps any of you guys out there who are just like wondering about sobriety or just having issues with the nostalgia of drinking. And I honestly added some extra stuff in here. I could literally talk about sobriety like a lot, guys, a lot. I think that's all I got to say for right now. All right, if I think of something else, I'll make another video about it. Anyways, guys, stay strong out there. I hope this sheds some insight. If you're curious about being sober or what sober feels like, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM. If you're going through the struggle yourself, guys, it gets so much better. Literally, look at that sun. Life gets pretty damn good. You just got to give it time and you got to work on it. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Hi, dog.